Okay, here's something that you need to realize is that 93% of communication is nonverbal. That means most of the time she's giving you signals that are physical, body language, her tonality. So you have to pick up on these things. And most guys are completely clueless. I actually was kind of clueless at one point, but I figured it out. So today, by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what to look for and to be able to tell if she really likes you and to be able to understand how to gauge a woman's attraction level. So if you're new here, welcome to the Ascended Man. My name is Brian. I was in combat at the age of 20 in the U.S. Marines. I was a certified personal trainer for a while, and I've also coached tons of men to peak performance. And now my mission is to help you forge strength, elevate your spirit, and lead with purpose. So I've got a quick story for you. There was a girl that I knew about 5 years ago that I met with a bunch of friends. It was a Cinco de Mayo party. We got together and had a great time. And this girl, absolutely beautiful. You could tell that she was really into me. I was into her. The conversations flew naturally. The vibe was there. We just had that synergy. And clearly there was mutual attraction. Now, the whole night, you could tell that she was positioning herself next to me, always trying to stand next to me, get close to me, proximity, touching my arm, laughing at my stupid ass jokes, and making eye contact, very deep eye contact, and just smiling a lot. She had amazing energy. And we were all partying, having a good time. At the end of the night, and everybody went home. And then the next day, I remember one of my buddies actually said, well, we'll use a different name here, said, Jessica was actually really into you. She was actually trying to go back to your place. I don't know if you could pick up on that or not. And I guess she had talked to the guys that she had really liked me. And, it's crazy because they actually said, oh yeah, Brian, he's just in his own world doing his own thing. What? Like what? Yeah, I felt like an idiot. And so she actually wanted to come back and hook up that night, but I missed that opportunity because I guess I was in my own world. And, this is why you have to be paying attention to this kind of stuff. You always have to be reading her attraction level. It's absolutely imperative, whether you just meet a woman and you're on a first date, or let's say you've been dating for a while. Maybe you guys have been in a long-term commitment already. It's absolutely crucial that you are able to pick up on where she is on the attraction scale. And I'm about to go over that because then you're going to know how to adjust your behavior. And so as long as you know where she is, you're able to adjust your behavior accordingly. And look, you don't want to force things. You want to spend time with women who are actually attracted to you. There's number one, we don't chase women, but there's no point in wasting energy and time on someone who doesn't have that mutual attraction, right? Like there's tons of women out there. You don't want to waste time with women that really, don't have the same level of attraction. So the attraction scale, this is very, very important. The attraction scale is on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, typically how it goes is you've got 1 to 4. 1 to 4, you're going to have no chance of raising her level of attraction, right? So it's very, very important that you recognize this. We'll talk about the signs, if she's interested, if she's not. But if she's on a scale of 1 to 4, you have no interest, don't even waste your time. She needs to be at least a 5 or more. So if she's at least a 5, you can bump that interest up and to 6, 7, and above. So 1 to 4, no chance. If she's between a 5 and a 6, she's interested. Maybe she's a little bit hesitant to give you her number or go out with you slightly, but you've got a little bit of work to do, right? Now, between 7 and 8, that's quite high. That's quite high. You're not going to have any issues going on a date with her. She's not going to be canceling on you. She's going to be engaging conversation with you. She's going to ask you questions about yourself. She'll be touching you. And then you have 9 and 10. 9 is she's in love with you. She's absolutely in love with you. She's obsessed with you. And 10 is essentially the final stage, which I can't speak on getting married. I've never been married before. Had some close calls in the past, but it never happened. So we've got 1 through 10. And what you need to be looking out for is if she is wishy-washy, right? If she's wishy-washy, if she's flaky, saying things like, yeah, I'll get back to you, I'll let you know. This is signifying that she has a low level of interest, likely below a 5. So you don't need to waste time with women that really aren't putting in any effort and they're not expressing any interest in wanting to see you. And like saying something like, I'll get back to you. I mean, okay, well, that's great. You're just going to go find someone else because that's really what you should do. Now, my second point is body language. You have to pay attention to her body language because at the end of the day, bro, actions speak louder than words. So you really have to be paying attention. You have to pay attention to things like her proximity. Does she mirror your movements? How is she positioned? So with proximity, I'll give you the example. This girl, for example, we were always hanging out this night, and we actually ended up dating off and on for a little bit later down the road as I started to learn these things and embrace my masculinity and have awareness. She would always stand really close to me. Let's say you're on a date, right? You're on a date, and she is, she's making eye contact with you. She's maybe putting her leg close to yours, right? If you're sitting at a bar, she's putting her leg close to yours. She's touching you. If she holds your hand, like that's game over. She's at least like an 8, right? If she's trying to hold your hand, at least an 8 or at least an 8. I would say 9 is more of her actually saying she's in love with you. So, these are all things you got to look out for, right? If she keeps bumping into you when you're walking, maybe you guys are walking together and she keeps bumping into you to try to get closer. Or let's say if you're walking together, and one thing I've actually tested before is I start kind of walking away slightly just to kind of see if she's going to follow me. I did this once with a girl, and I was just doing it psychologically to kind of see where she was at, and she started to kind of drift towards me and come closer. She obviously really had no idea what she was doing. She's just thinking, I just want to be closer to him. But I was actually calculating as I was doing this. So you got to pay attention to stuff like this. Is she, you're on a date with her, right? Is she mirroring your movements, right? Like, let's say you take a drink, she takes a drink with you. It's because she's trying to be on your level. She likes you. She's trying to be in rapport with you, which means she's trying to be on the same level with you, to be in a good flow, to be in a good rhythm with you. Other things too is really the power of touch. So this is my second point. The power of touch. This is huge. Is she, like I said, is she touching your hand? Is she touching your back? Is she touching your arm? Maybe she's rubbing your arm, or maybe she touches your leg, right? This is her wanting to be closer to you. So you have to pick up on this. Being able to tell, is she standing near me? Is she making eye contact with me? Is she touching me? And that is absolutely huge. So you have to pay attention to that stuff because it's a subtle escalation. It's a subtle escalation. And women will do these things to gauge where you're at, to see if you're receptive of it. Now, if she's really starting to test the boundaries a little bit with more light touches, right? Like things touching your arm, maybe touching your leg, things like that. She's really trying to gauge where you're at. And this is her way of escalating things to see how you're going to be receiving of it. And it's your job to escalate, to take it to the next level. If she's initiating these types of things, she's letting you know, she's giving you the signal that, hey, I really like you, I'm into you. Now, I want you to take charge. I want you to lead, and I want you to take it to the next step, because it's your job as a man to do that. Now, I'll tell you, I actually did date one girl I met at a club. She was a party girl. And gosh, this was like 6 years ago, maybe. We actually went to an EDM show on New Year's together. I had invited her. And we hadn't actually made out. There was obviously that physical attraction. She was very into me. I was very into her. We vibed, and sexually, physically. No, we hadn't kissed or hooked up or anything like that yet. But it's New Year's Eve, and it's about to be midnight, and I hadn't kissed her yet, but she literally turned to me and just started making out with me. So there's definitely going to be some women who are more, a little bit more dominant, a little bit more assertive. But a lot of women aren't going to do that. If they have a really, really high level of interest at like an 8 or a 9, you know, she's definitely going to do something like that. But remember, when it comes to physical escalation, it's about having the awareness. It's about picking up on all the cues and being just literally being awareness, bro. Just being aware of what's going on, how she's acting, how she's responding, and not forcing anything. You don't want to force anything because it's going to come across as weird. This is also why in the past I've gotten rejected. You might have gotten rejected as well. You try to force something and then it feels awkward and weird. Well, most of the times women know what they're doing. I have been rejected a couple times, even in the past few years. Well, technically, one time in the past several years, one time I made a move on a girl who she was giving all the signs of interest. I even went to go stay with her. I flew to a different state, which, by the way, don't ever do that unless you guys are a thing. But I was for sure that we had a thing going on. The attraction was there and she was giving me the signs. I stayed at her place for like 4 days. Right. And I just assumed that like it's game on, but I went in for the move at the perfect time and she rejected me, which, you know, it is what it is. If a woman does that, that's it. Like, friends, or don't even talk to her. Cause honestly, you don't even need to have female friends. It's not even really necessary to have female friends that you're talking to on a regular basis. It's not necessary unless you are actually hooking up. If you're dating her, there's no other reason otherwise. I mean, it's cool if you have a colleague or something that you talk to here and there, right? But you shouldn't be like, oh my gosh, calling each other on the phone, talking about, you know, being her gay best friend, because that's literally what that is, bro. But yeah, you don't want to force anything. Let her lead with the touch, right? A lot of women know what they're doing. Like I said, this woman that rejected me, she had no idea what she was doing, but a lot of women really know what they're doing. They are very smart, intuitive, and they know. And that's why you don't have to tell a woman how you feel. You show her how you feel. So you need to pick up on this stuff and just let it flow. Just let it flow. Another example I have, a girl that I dated, this was a few years ago, and we dated for a few months. She had a very high level. I would say she had a pretty high level of attraction. It was at least a 7 or an 8. I think by the time we ended things, she was at least an 8, if not even close to a 9. And, you know, she was really cool. We had a lot of synergy. She would buy me things. She bought me stuff for my birthday. I never bought her one thing. And that's another thing too, is that, look, if a girl is not my girlfriend, if we're not in a relationship, I'm not buying her anything. Now, I will pay for things as far as dates and stuff goes, but I'm not buying like a gift or anything. So I remember the first time that we went out, she had me come over to her place before, because we were going to go to a show together with a few other people, and she wanted to have some one-to-one time. So she actually had me come over to her place to have a couple drinks beforehand, so that way we could have that one-to-one time together. I didn't even pick up on that at the time. You know, I was still missing some things. This is about 3 years ago. But I did pick up on the fact that she was touching my leg. We were sitting down at her bar, and she had positioned her legs to where I had my leg here, and she was touching my leg, and she started actually asking me about my tattoo. She was literally asking me about my tattoo and touching my arm and stuff. But yeah, does she care about my tattoo? Yeah, it's cool. It's badass. But like, she doesn't give a shit. She's just trying to show me and express that she likes me. So that is her way of escalating things. She also would, you know, she was always very engaged in conversation, looking me deep in my eyes and paying attention to the conversation, asking me about myself. She would pay for hotels. I mean, there was a lot of things that she did. She would bring me food for when I was at work. Just working from home, she would order me food and bring it to me. She did that a couple times. So acts of service. This is her showing in many ways that she is attracted to me. She likes me. She's invested. And so it's very important to recognize these things. Also, you gotta look at her tone too, her tonality, right? Does her voice get softer and a little bit more playful? Because a lot of women, they will even if they have a little bit more of a masculine tone, if they are around a man that is in his masculine energy, it makes her want to be in her feminine energy. So maybe she's going to have a little bit more of a playful tone. Maybe she has a little bit of a softer voice, a little bit more of a high voice. It's what women do to signify, or signaling, I don't even know if signify is a word, but signaling that she is being submissive. Maybe if she is acting a little bit like a child, I'm not saying you want to date a woman who acts like a child, but, you know, acting a little bit like carefree in a sense, like a child. She's in her feminine energy. She feels comfortable with you, right? So you have to pay attention to that. Now, another thing is with communication in terms of texting, right? Is she texting you back quickly? Now, if a woman is texting you back very quickly, it's obviously that she's got a high level of interest in you. So you got to pay attention to her response time. You know, if she's taking hours and hours to respond, or she's hitting you with like one or, you know, 2-word messages, or she's literally hitting you with just a few words. And if you're texting her more than she's texting you, then it's not good, right? It's flipped. It's not where you want it to be. But if she is, you know, she's responding back to your text messages in a reasonable amount of time, and she's actually having a little bit of conversation with you, then she's interested. You know, she's acting excited. If you're talking about setting up a date, if you're on the phone, if you text her, ask her about going out on a date, right? She's actually excited to see you. She's got a high level of interest. She's going to be at least a 7. Now, I will say this too. There's some women that are on game. Actually, these days is 2025, bro. A lot of women are on game these days. So what that means is, just like I'm teaching you guys, they're on game. Like they'll play games too. I mean, because every woman has her phone around constantly. They always do. They always have their phone. So if she doesn't text you back for several hours, unless there is something crazy going on, she is just messing with you. I'm just going to keep it 100 with you. But you can do the same thing too. Now, really what you want is, you really want to have honesty and transparency. I'm not trying to tell you to be deceptive and lie, but you don't need to act over interested and over eager. And let's say if she's texting you back like several hours and you respond back right away, like, no. But I have been with a lot of women before, and it's so easy to pick up the ones that really like you. I've actually dated a good bit of older women. I'm 33 now. I've dated women that were, you know, late 30s, early 40s as well, who just had a very youthful energy. And the thing with dating older women is they don't really play games. They're pretty straightforward. And everyone that I've always dated, if they were into you, they always act really interested. They're going to text you back like pretty much right away. You know, they're just not really trying to waste any time. And they're a lot more direct as well. So also keep in mind with the texting, if she is calling and texting you first, you know, like I said, if she's responding you quickly, she's pursuing you, those are strong signs of attraction. Now, again, if she has very short text messages or hits you with just a few words, she takes forever to respond back, she has a low level of interest, don't even waste your time, dude. There's no point, because there's so many women out there. You don't need to waste your time and try and chase women who really just aren't even that interested to begin with. And that's, like I said, it doesn't matter how attractive you are, how much money you have. There's going to be some women who just aren't interested in you. Like, you just aren't their type. I'm actually only 5'9". I'm not that tall, but I'm pretty fit. And, you know, I use what I can to my advantage, but I am not going to be every woman's cup of tea, and I haven't been. And I know that. It doesn't matter how many boxes you check. You just may not be her cup of tea, and that's okay. And you just have to be willing to walk away and accept that. Now, we're going to decode the texting behavior a little bit more. Let's say if she's into you, she's going to make it easy for you. At the end of the day, if a woman is interested in you, she's going to make it easy for you to set the date. Now, like I said, most women are going to tee you up and put you in the best position possible with how they're acting, verbal and nonverbal, body language, things of that nature. And when you offer to go out on a date, she's going to make it easy for you. So if you give her the place and time, you determine her availability and say, hey, Jessica, let's grab drinks at so-and-so at 8 p.m. on Saturday. Does that work for you? Once you've already got her availability, Yeah, that works for me. Great. Perfect. Right. Set the date. She's not going to be, you got to understand this, bro. Like, she's not going to be canceling on you. Like, if something happens, an emergency situation, there is a unique times where she will cancel. Okay. But it's very rare that a woman who actually, hardly ever a woman that I've been with that actually had a very high level of interest canceled on me. Bro, women will find a way to make it happen. And if they like you enough, they're going to put you before their family, their friends. Like, if she's in deep enough, she's going to ride or die with you. I'm telling you, she's going to find a way. If she's interested in you enough, if she is at least a 6 or a 7, she is going to find a way to make it happen. She's going to see you because she wants to spend time with you. Even if you guys had just met, she's going to make it easy for you. She's going to set you up. She's going to tee you up. So let's say like with texting, for example, when you suggest plans, she's going to respond back with enthusiasm. She's going to respond back relatively quickly, if not immediately. Usually within, honestly, 20 minutes, to be honest with you. And, you know, like I said, she's going to say, yeah, I'd love to. When are you free? Like, it's a green light. She's put you in there. But again, if she's kind of vague or non-committal, she cancels on you. Let me get back to you. Let me see. She spends forever getting back to you and actually responding. She's not that interested, bro. Move on. My rule of thumb is I'm only going to ask a girl out twice. I don't care if she cancels, she has other plans. Twice. I'm going to make an effort twice. And if it doesn't work out, I'm moving on, and you should too. That's what we do here. Because there's too many men out here. Again, you don't want to waste time and energy on women that are not that attracted to you. Just let them be and go find someone else. Now, building and maintaining attraction. You have to stay in your masculine frame. I'm always talking about this. Maintaining the attraction. Because there's many times in the past when I had met a woman, you know, maybe I hooked up with her. It really wasn't too hard after a while. Once you have the basics down, we connected. But there's been a lot of times in the past where I actually really struggled to maintain attraction. Because you have to be in your frame. And women are drawn to men who have their own purpose and direction. So you have to stay busy. Do not drop everything for her, right? Do not drop everything for her. Let's say if she asks you out and you're busy on your purpose, making money, on business, in the gym, you know, you're busy living your life as a man because you have a whole life you're building, right? She asks you to hang out. Let's say you respond with something like, hey, I'm actually really busy tonight. Let's go out Saturday. I'm free. Something like that, right? You cannot be dropping everything just to hang out with her, even if she decides to hit you up, right? Last minute shouldn't work for you because you should be having your days and weekends already planned out. Now, generally going to ask a woman out on a Wednesday, I would say like a Tuesday or Wednesday for Friday or Saturday. And that's typically how it goes. But the thing is, bro, is the attraction grows when you leave her wanting more. Maintaining attraction. How do you maintain the attraction of a woman? Let's say you guys have started dating. Let's say you guys have slept together. Let's say, you know, she's attracted to you. It's mutual attraction. Let's say she's at least a 7 or 8, which is good. Let's say you got her up there to an 8 consistently. Buying you things. She's spending time with you. You can tell by her body language. You can just tell, bro. Let's say she's there. How do you maintain the attraction? Don't be needy. You cannot be needy. You cannot be too available. There's a difference between being too available and reliable. I always want you to be a reliable person. Do not make her your whole world. Maintaining her attraction. You have to still court her. Even if you get into a serious relationship, you have to still court her. Your wife, you have to still court her. I'm assuming you guys are a lot younger. The courting never stops. That's the thing. Maintain her attraction. You got to stay in the gym. You got to stay taking care of your body. You got to stay physically fit. You got to still be getting up early and having a productive day. You have to still have goals constantly. And you can share those goals with her. But you have to consistently be taking action and showing that you are building your life. You're building yourself. You're focused on your growth, your own personal growth. You have to do these things. Maintaining her attraction. Physically. What, are you still the guy with the same habits and discipline and body that when she first met you? Or did you kind of slip a little bit? Because this is what happens. This is what a lot of guys do. It's happened to me in the past before as well. Are you still taking yourself seriously? Or are you starting to kind of get comfortable because it's easy? Because now you got a girlfriend, you got a hot girlfriend. Well, not much longer if you let yourself go. Maintain her attraction. Maintain the mystery. So you know how to build it. This is how we maintain it. You have to consistently be improving yourself. And just because now that you got a great girl, it doesn't mean that you're secure. It's actually quite the opposite. It means you got to stay on your A game and show her that you're a man of value and you're continuously building yourself into a high value man. And high value men never stop growing. We never stop learning. We never stop making more money. We are always prioritizing our personal growth. How do you maintain her attraction? How do you maintain her attraction? I want you to listen very closely to this. You maintain her attraction by not putting her first. You have to always put you first. Because if you don't put you first, you are potentially throwing away that relationship, because then she's going to see you got soft. You lost your frame. So you have to stay in your frame. Being a man of purpose, being a man of action, prioritizing his own personal growth, and being a man that is always chasing excellence. And just imagine how much easier dating could be if you could confidently read her interest level. Because this is what I'm talking about. I try to make it as simple as possible. You know exactly where you stand, because that's very important. Whether you just started dating her or whether you have been dating her and you're now in a serious relationship, you have to always be reading her attraction level and being able to tell if these other areas are starting to slip. Like if she's starting to take longer to respond, her text messages are shorter, she's not wanting to spend as much time with you, she's taking a step back because she's trying to reevaluate whether she even likes you anymore. She's trying to reevaluate, because women are always making sure that they have the best option. This is hypergamy. Women are biologically wired to make sure that they are always with their best option that they can get. And it's very competitive. It's a competitive job market. It's competitive with your body, with your physique, with your money. It's competitive with women. It's very fucking competitive out here. And so if you are not constantly improving yourself, another guy is going to come in and swoop and take that girl from you. So that's why it's your responsibility. You got to be on point. You got to stay on your game. You got to be constantly improving. But this is how you read her attraction, and this is how you maintain her attraction long term. You have to always be on your purpose. That's the real kicker there. You got to be on your purpose, and you have to be in your masculine frame. Have confidence. Where does confidence come from? Crushing your goals, setting new ones, crushing them, and keep moving the bar every single day, every week, every month, every year, and making sure that you are becoming a high value man and being able to maintain that. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys for today. If you found this video helpful, I want you to hit that like button, comment down below something you're struggling with, any experience that you've had, and then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And that's all I got. Catch you guys later. Bye.